we treat the body rigorously so that it is not disobedient to the mind. If you break the little promises, you'll break the big ones.
I've been thinking a lot recently about the commitments we make to ourselves and the importance of keeping those commitments.
Sure.
And I'm thinking, when I say that, I mean the small things. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, as Jordan Peterson might say, like, I'm going to make my bed.
Yeah.
Or it could be, I'm going to quit drinking alcohol, or I'm going to have vegetables instead of, I don't know, pizza. These small commitments we make and the impact they have on the story we believe about ourselves.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, I think it was this morning, or I was going to write something about it, how the size of the commitments we keep to ourselves correlates to the size of the reward it spits out on the other end. So if we keep big commitments to ourselves in terms of the impact on our self-esteem and our self-story, the evidence we have about who we are, it has a correlatory, that's not even a word, but it has an equally big output. What do you think about that, keeping commitments to ourselves?
In The Road, the Cormac McCarthy novel, the little boy is talking to his dad. They're sitting around a campfire, and they've agreed to split everything evenly. That's sort of the system they have. And the dad gives the son like a little more of the hot chocolate, like he's trying to be nice. And the son's upset, and he says, "Dad, like you promised we would split everything evenly." And he says, "Dad, if you break the little promises, you'll break the big ones." And I think that's such a beautiful idea, not just as a parent, but as a person, right? It shouldn't matter. You said, "Hey, I'm going to get up at 6." And then the alarm goes off at 6. And then you hit snooze and you hit snooze and you go, "I don't actually have to be anywhere today. I'll just go back to sleep and wake up whenever I think." Or as a writer, like writing is not fun. Having written is fun. So you're always trying to come up with reasons that you don't have to do it today. But if you're building the muscle either way. You're either building the muscle that says, I do what I say, I keep the commitments that I make, or you're building the muscle that says, I make excuses, I don't do what I say, I can't be counted on, right? And so when we think about discipline, it's really about like, what promises are you going to keep? And the tricky thing is you're keeping promises to yourself that nobody even knows that you made, right? It's not like, hey, you made this commitment. If I don't write this book by this time, I have to do this embarrassing thing, or, then I'll retire. You're not really putting your ass on the line in that sense, but you've said to yourself, you're going to do this thing, and building that muscle is really important. I mean, I do think one of the critical things about having a physical practice is you are building that muscle of like, I told myself I'm going to do this hard thing. Now that hard thing is approaching. And am I going to come up with an excuse? Am I going to give myself a way out? Or I'm going to do it. And then when you do it, now you're in the middle of it. And now you're tired. And there's this voice inside of you that says, well, no one's watching. You can stop anytime you want. Just turn around. Just go back or slow down. It'd be easier if you slowed down. And the muscle, or that part of you that is able to override that, is a really critical muscle. Seneca says, we treat the body rigorously so that it is not disobedient to the mind. And I think about that. I have a cold plunge at my house, and there's supposedly all these health benefits to doing the cold plunge. It increases your metabolism or circulation. There's all these studies. And they're probably true. I mean, they sound like they're true. I'm not a scientist. I have no idea. But to me, all of that is extra. To me, what the cold plunge is it's the sitting down in the thing when I know how cold it's going to be, and I know I'm not going to get used to it or comfortable for at least a couple minutes, right? Like the cranking of the knob in the shower is the other version, or the shower's not warmed up and the forcing the step in before it's cold. That's the health benefit. Like that's the thing that you're getting out of it, is the ability to do hard stuff that you don't want to do for uncertain benefits or benefits way down the line. Like if you can cultivate that, you're golden. That's where books come from. That's where businesses come from. That's where losing weight comes from. All of it comes from the ability to do that hard thing that you don't want when the rewards are not immediate or instantaneous.